What's up, everybody in TV land? Tonight's episode is working on a 2004, 2008, probably all the way up to 12 Chevy Impala, replacing the alternator. A friend of mine having problems, man. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning out here in Texas, and it's hot. It's still like 95 degrees with 56% humidity. So first thing you want to do is get you a little towel and make sure it's wet, like dripping wet. Put it on your head. Then you want to take your shirt off. And don't try it in the daytime, man. You'll kill yourself. Wait until nighttime. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be out here looking strange, but hey, trust me. Let's make you a whole picture of a Michael T from the flowers. Don't do the powder, get the flowers. And you want to liquefy you about 15 blueberries. Then sweeten it to your likings. Put it in the ice box and freeze it, because water ain't gonna be enough. And you want to do the bad laying chugs, but you want to freeze it until you got your block in there, but don't drink too much because there's gonna be nothing but syrup. But this is what's gonna hydrate you, keep you from catching cramps and falling out. So put that on the table, y'all. Let's get it. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is you want to take these 2 little screws off. That's your water reservoir bottle, and you're gonna use a 10 millimeter. Okay, 10 millimeter. This is what your screws look like, right there. All right, take that, lift it up, move it out the way. These things, whatever you call them. Take that little clamp off there. That's the hose on the bottom of the water reservoir. This bolt right here, that's 15 millimeter. All right, you're gonna loosen that one, okay? Right. See this bolt? That's a 15 also. So you're gonna pop that too. Then on this side, here, can't see it, but that one is also a 10 millimeter, but it's a deep socket. So you loosen that bolt first, and then up under that bolt is a 15 as well. But anyways, it's right here. See this little wire? There's a wire right here. It's right back behind it. Anyway, so you're gonna loosen this, completely take this positive battery cable off. You wanna do that first. You don't have to do the ground, but do your positive, all right? You wanna loosen them, and then you wanna take your belt off, okay? You're gonna take your belt off. If y'all remember from my earlier videos, I told y'all to go on down to Harbor Freight and get this serpentine belt removal tool. This is what you're gonna use to remove your alternator belt. Well, your serpentine belt. You ain't got but one belt on here. And this is what you're gonna use. You're gonna put it in that square hole. All right, so you take the serpentine belt tool and you're gonna put it right there. You see that? That hole right there in that tensioner pulley. It's a hole, it's a square right there. And this is your tool. It's gonna go in there. And then you're gonna go that way, you're gonna push down on it, watch. Show you what happens. See? See when you push down, how the belt gets slack? See that slack? That's what you're gonna do. Take off the alternator first, and then tuck it through this and pull it straight up. Leave the belt on everything else. All right, you ain't trying to take it completely off, just take the alternator off. All you doing is taking it off this pulley, and then just run the belt under here so it'll hold it in position. All right, don't be doing all that unnecessary work. If your belt look old and raggedy, make sure you got the belt diagram or draw it before you take it off, like I did. Look right here. That's the belt diagram. Draw it on the side to where you facing it. Don't be standing out like that, but draw it to how it look, all right? All right, so when you got your belt off, get your 15 millimeter socket, put it back on your wrench, and you're gonna push that way. Remember, I already broke it, I already loosened it. So that's all you're gonna do. You're gonna do it that way. You're gonna do them 2 at the back, okay? Anyway, so this is important. You wanna loosen it enough times and take the wrench off and put your hand on it, because there's not enough room for this big old socket on this old tight firewall. It's not enough room. So you just want to break it with that and then use your old dog hands to loosen it and to take the bolt completely out. All right? That's what you want to do. If you got old wimp fingers, you guess you have to use a open end or a closed end ratcheting wrench to get it. But if you got brute fingers like me, see I used to be on He-Man, then you don't need all that. It's a long boat, man. So you're gonna be doing some revolutions, man. See? And it still won't come all the way up. So that means it's gonna stay in the alternator when you take the alternator out. All right? Moving on to the next boat. Just run your old dog fingers. See, for the other boat, you want a 10mm baby ratchet, deep socket. And you're gonna go on this side. Well, I showed you. Well, I tried to show you, but I told you you're gonna feel for it. And just put it on there and do the same thing, man. So with just those 10mm screw. But what you want to do is you want to get one of them old dirty mildew smelling towels out your bathroom and put it under where you're working in case the more butterfingers you got, you drop this. All right, do that. And then you're gonna need a deep socket, 15mm. All right, so that little 10mm bolt, it holds this. This is going to your power steering pump, I reckons. Reservoir. Yeah, it's going to your power steering reservoir. So you take that bolt off, you remove this little bracket holding it. You can't see it, but it's right there. And then put your 15mm on that bolt that's up under there. Run your open end wrench or your socket under these spark plug wires. Or you can take them off, mark them before you take them off. But a lot of times I just run it underwards. See? This is that bolt on the right look like. That 10mm was here, holding that bracket to the power steering pump, power steering reservoir. This is holding the alternator down on top of the engine block. All right, so you're gonna put that right there. Keep that out the way. All right, and remember that other bolt is here, but it won't come out. And this is the first bolt that you was using from the jump. Sucker right here by the belt. So now you want to go and loosen this bolt right here with your hand. If you got you one of these ratcheting 15mm closed end wrenches, you can also use that on that back alternator bolt and on this one to save your little old weak wrists some work. A lot of y'all got carpal tunnel wrist syndrome from popping yourself when y'all was in y'all teens watching Up at Night Cinemax or whatever, mess your wrist up for life. Couldn't stop doing that, but anyways, then you're gonna slide that bolt out. You can't get your bolts mixed up, man. All right, so then what you're gonna do is you're gonna wiggle your alternator up until you loosen it. But remember that old wire, it's a wire right here. You gotta pry that wire off, all right? All right, so this is your alternator wire right here. That's the one you pry out of there, okay? That's what's gonna give it electricity. You pry that out the side. All right, so what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a big flathead or some kind of chisel, something like this. And then you're gonna need one of these old school rubber hammers, okay? Because right here, with this alternator, this part of the alternator goes into this bracket. You see right here, that side bolt? Well, when you tighten that side bolt, it's gonna push this in to hold the alternator. And so you're gonna take that flathead, chisel, whatever you wanna call it, and you're gonna tap on this thing right here. You're gonna angle it and you're gonna hit it with the hammer until this thing right here moves this way. That's what's gonna take all the tension off the alternator. See how loose it is now? Otherwise, you're gonna be out here fighting yourself, so don't do that. Tap that button. So once you take that, you release the tension off of it, you're gonna just lift up the alternator this way. See? And then you're just gonna slide it, turn it like that. You're gonna just turn it like that and pull it straight out and sit it down. See? It's that bolt. Now remember, when you get ready to put the alternator back on there, you wanna put this bolt back in here, turn it like that, and then put it back that way. All right, now this is that little piece I was telling you about. That little rusty thing. So you might want to spray it with some DW40. That's what old people call it. Young people call it WD-40 because we know how to read, right? And you're going to push that sucker that way. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to tap it inward. That's what's holding the tension on the alternator. I ain't even really touched my Michael Blueberry, man. I'm going to send a shout out to Badland Chugs right quick, you know. This is good right here, boy. Peace out, y'all. Join the club. Be like Skeletor.